Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. Long Island's largest rock salt source. They've got plenty of it. So wherever you are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area, or even beyond, if you can't find rock salt where you are, they've got it, along with mag, ice pellets and flakes, Pelido, all the great snow and ice melt products, and anything else you might need this coming winter to make sure your home or your business is clean and safe from winter weather. 631-756-1125 for the best prices anywhere. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. Let me just quick at the top just remind you that the Joe and Joe Weather Show will be back Sunday morning, at its usual Sunday morning start time, 11 a.m. And you can tune in to find out the latest on what's going to be going on for the week ahead. We have a day where we've had clouds and some sun. Our storm system from the last couple of days is sitting in the Gulf of Maine and just spinning away, slowly edging to the east and throwing back some snow up into northern New England and even into parts of upstate New York. And meanwhile, we have clouds that stretch back across the Great Lakes because we still have the old upper low that created the Plains blizzard this week that is very stubbornly moving to the east, albeit slowly, and that has kept things rather cloudy and also rather snowy at times across the Great Lakes. And we'll check out on the radar. You can see the snow that's up going on in Maine, particularly in northern Maine. It's mostly come to an end now in northeastern New York, small area left in northwestern Vermont. We've got some areas of snows coming off the Lake Ontario into north central New York, also all coming in off of Lake Erie into the areas around Buffalo and to the east. And we're seeing some light snows in western and central Pennsylvania, even a few snow showers up around the Catskills. And then, of course, back right around all of the Great Lakes. All of this, that upper low, and then the storm system that's off the East Coast, just waiting for it all to just get out of the way. Let's jump ahead to later this week. And we're going to look at the Weather Prediction Center's long range forecast. This is the probability, let's call it at least 3 inches of snow. This period here is Tuesday into Wednesday. You're looking at the upper peninsula of Michigan. Now, Wednesday into Thursday, we start to see the next storm system that's going to be diving out of the plain states, and that's producing a 30 to 50% area of, 30 to 50% probability of at least 3 from northeastern Kansas up through Iowa. Then as we move on to the next date, next time frame, which is Thursday into Friday, they've done some adjustments. They've shifted the 30 to 50% to the west, and I think rightfully so, based on what I looked at today in terms of the models, from upstate New York, central and western Pennsylvania, and then across Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, down into Kentucky and northern Tennessee. There's even some 50 to 70% areas being indicated. 10 to 30 makes it right to the coast. And then on Friday into Saturday, Christmas Eve, the WPC folks have 30 to 50 across the northern half of Pennsylvania, and then from the Catskills northward with 50 to 70 in upstate New York, and also 50 to 70 in northwestern Maine. 10 to 30 extends down to the coast, but I have my doubts on this from what I've been looking at. So it's really come down to the fact that, yes, we have a block, and it's right up here. You're looking at the upper air for 1 o'clock this afternoon. We have the upper low sitting over the Great Lakes. We have another one off in the Gulf of Maine. We have another one still in the Pacific Northwest, and a big ridge in the western United States. The block is trying to hold, and it does so rather successfully for the first few days this week. But what happens is, you'll notice that upper low is stretching from just north of Montana to just north of Lake Superior. Well, it's not stretching far enough. Part of this was supposed to break off and move to the east and create a low out in the Atlantic somewhere east of Newfoundland, which would have reinforced the block to the north. Instead, all it's doing is much like what happened with this big upper air storm that was kind of supposed to do the same idea. This one's going to do the same thing. It's just going to concentrate itself into one system, dive southward into Illinois and Indiana, and the result is going to wind up being a storm, and quite a strong storm indeed. Make no mistake, this is going to be a powerhouse late next week, but it's going to be to our west. And that means it's going to be rain. And I described the scenario a couple of days ago where we would get rain and a screaming south wind, and I think that's what is going to happen. And then it may go to a screaming northwest wind after the front goes by. Until then, we have no weather problems tonight and on Sunday for the most part, other than you see some lake effect snows going on in parts of upstate New York. It's going to be cold. Temperatures tomorrow not out of the 30s in most places. Monday, cold and dry. There is a low moving across the Gulf states Monday into Tuesday, passes way out to the south, and now you're going to see this energy coming down into the plains with the snow from Colorado and Kansas and Nebraska northeast into Wisconsin and Michigan. A low is going to develop out of this and run up into the Ohio Valley. And you see it here popping up in central Tennessee. Then it deepens or intensifies fairly rapidly as it moves into northwestern Ohio. This could be a big snowstorm in and around the Great Lakes for Indiana, for Ohio, into western Pennsylvania. For the east, if moisture gets in fast enough on Thursday, there could be a burst of snow at the start late in the day Thursday as low pressure one lead low comes out, but as the main low takes over, it's going to be rain and probably some heavy rain with strong gusty winds during Friday. You see all those isobars, how tight they are. Well, that's the sharp Arctic front. Bitter cold air is going to be driving down. The coldest of the cold air is actually going to probably move into the Ohio Valley and the southeastern part of the U.S., at least initially. The one thing we may have to look for late Friday when this cold front comes on through, we're going to have to measure how fast temperatures drop behind it, because I think we could very well be well up into the 50s and even into the 60s ahead of this. And then once the front goes by, we could see temperatures fall very sharply, very quickly with a screaming wind. We may see temperatures drop down below freezing in just a matter of hours. I think that's something we're going to have to just try and figure out in the coming days. But a major storm, yes. A major storm that tracks to the west of the coast, I think most definitely, based on the fact that every single model now, the GFS was holding out, but every single model now is on this idea. That would make Christmas Eve a very windy and very cold day, and that cold weather will last, although the wind may relax a bit on Christmas Day. And both those days look to be on the dry side, unless you're in and around the Great Lakes where there'll be a lot of lake effect snows that will be going on. So, of course, we're going to be watching this, covering it tomorrow extensively on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the phone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.